Before we get started on today's show, let me tell you about the Oxford Exxon and Blue Sky there on Highway 6 West in Oxford. Ole Miss, Tennessee tonight from the Pavilion. Remember, you get the Stadium Cup. Keep it, take it home with you, put it in your car because you can refill it for 49 cents every single time at the Blue Sky and Oxford Exxon. Great deal there to quench your thirst. Also, remember about the daily lunch specials, $4.99, 2 sides of bread, 32-ounce drink, the ribs at night. Pick them up, maybe on the way home tonight. You don't want to cook, you didn't eat at the Pavilion, they'll be ready to go there at the Blue Sky. And also coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio, 662-257-1900, Highway 25 South there in Amory, Mississippi. Give Corey Clark a call. 15 minutes. You're going to get a quote during business hours, shopping around, take it, whatever you like to do with it. It's going to be the best deal. So while you're finishing up the paperwork, mention the podcast. He'll knock an extra $500 off there with Clark Ford. Now into the show.
From the Clark Ford Studio in Oxford, Mississippi, MBW Digital proudly presents the Oxford Exxon Podcast.
I'd say thanks for tuning in, but why am I going to give you a round of applause for something that you're supposed to do, to be frank?
And now, here are your hosts, Chase Parham.
That broadcast school has really paid off.
And Neal McCready.
I deserve to be on TV.
Welcome to this Wednesday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal McCready, Clark Ford Studio this morning. A big one tonight as the top 10 Vols head to Oxford for the Rebels and Tennessee. Tip-off time at 6 p.m. at the Pavilion tonight. Coverage, obviously, at rebelgrove.com as Ole Miss has a chance to punch its ticket to the NCAA tournament and probably not worry about much else happens the rest of the way. Ole Miss baseball last night gives up 4 in the first. The starting pitching continues to be an issue to UT Martin. However, they scored 4 in the first themselves. They hit 3 home runs. They scored 12 runs and obliterated the Skyhawks pitching for a midweek win, moving to 4-2 on the season. Even Ryan Olenek got into the action, throwing the 9th inning for the Rebels last night, and looked pretty good doing it. So we'll talk about that. Probably
is he the new Saturday starter?
It's probably a little strong.
Okay.
He has thrown 1.2 innings in his life, but I asked for mailbag questions and about the 1 out in the 9th inning. Let's say I got a lot of Olenek questions last night, so I'll have to get to that tomorrow in my mailbag. But I tell you though, it was 91-92. Curveball had some depth.
I saw the curveball.
Yeah,
I saw the curveball. I was like, whoa, can't make that one up.
Yeah, something to that a little bit. I mean, it wasn't just flinging in there, so we'll see. But anyway, Ole Miss, hey, look, they got to find a starting pitcher, but the bullpen, for the most part, has done some pretty good work other than in the gusting Uptown New Orleans win on Saturday, only giving up 2 runs last night in 7.1 innings. Connor Green, I hate wins, but it's kind of a neat story. He didn't have a win or a save in his entire career, and now he has 2 wins in a row in 2 appearances. So something there.
So he should be the new Saturday starter.
Yeah, just throw anybody in on Saturday. Yeah, just try them all. Put somebody in. Maybe Thomas Dillard can pitch. Put him in on Saturday. See what happens.
The way he's hitting right now, he'd probably hit his own pitch out.
Yeah, he had another bomb last night. I think he has 16 or 17 RBIs through 6 games.
It's pretty good.
Season. It's not bad. He was
pretty good.
He was voted the National Player of the Week by 2 different publications yesterday.
Yeah, it happens.
And 13 RBIs, 3 home runs, a double, and a triple will typically do that for your week. So
yeah,
he had a nice.
If he could keep that pace up,
he had a shot at the Golden Spikes.
He'd have a real chance.
Real chance at the Golden Spikes as we move forward. Ole Miss has had somebody finish second for that before, so
don't like his chances to keep his OPS at 2,500. I have a feeling it drops. If he does,
one dynamic offense.
It's one hell of an offensive team.
Yeah. Drew Pomeranz falling 1 vote shy of the Golden Spikes in 2010.
For those of you out there who took A&M plus 11.5, you are welcome. You're welcome.
Never a doubt.
Never even a smidgen of a doubt.
I'm not sure they ever got inside 11.
Yeah, they did at the end.
No, it was 11.
The final score said minus 11, which is less than 11.5.
That extra little hook was big on
You're all welcome. You're welcome. Happy hump day.
Was OSU up huge the whole game?
They had a significant margin for most of the evening.
Oh gosh, I don't know. We're gonna go all over the place today.
As we say frequently, those buildings in Vegas are they're paid for with cash.
Yeah. Randy Moss, straight cash, homie.
Yeah.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
It was Randy Moss, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Because from quote standpoint, I get he and T.O. and Keyshawn mixed up, but I'm pretty sure that was Moss.
Yeah. 3 very confident wide receivers.
Keyshawn was just give me the damn ball.
Yeah.
That was Keyshawn. Okay, fair enough. I'm going to get to plenty of stuff. I will point this out, though, for anybody who listens to any of the Corolla podcasts or just kind of hit home with us a little bit, is this Potato Log podcast that has grown over the years. They did a rebroadcast a couple of days ago on the ACS show, his flagship show, from his very first podcast in 2009. He'd just been fired from radio in L.A., just basically sitting in a room with a mic saying, hey, I hope y'all are hearing this, and my dude over here didn't screw up the audio. And he gets what Corolla typically does and a little vulgar deeper into the show, so caution. But the first 15 minutes, he sort of predicts things because at the time, he didn't know what this is going to be. He's making no money off of it. He has no real direction on where he's going next in his life, and basically just says, I don't like the time clocks of radio. I don't like how the radio people don't understand radio, how they don't like conversation, how they don't really understand what the listener wants from its radio every single day. So I don't know what this technology is. He never even said the word podcast because he didn't know the word podcast. He just said, I'm going to get on the internet and talk, and we're going to see what the technology does, and we're going to see where it goes, and we're going to see what happens. And he's fairly eloquent and really sincere for about the first 15 minutes of his first show, and now he's the most successful podcast person on the planet and a multi-millionaire. So it just, I don't know, it was sort of a mini little success story going back and in real time hearing him discuss a format that, frankly, didn't even have a name yet at the time.
Yeah, I didn't know we were going here today, but I'm kind of glad we did. We'll get to football. We're going to get to everything. I promise we're going to get there.
Yeah, you got an hour with this, chill. You're all right.
I tell my kids this all the time. I do. I mess around with them, but sometimes I'm trying to get a message through. I do it to Carson all the time. Believe in yourself, believe your gut, trust your gut, stuff like that. Because I didn't. Still to many degrees don't, but I didn't then. But I can remember doing radio in Mobile, and when we first started, the people that ran the station wanted hardcore sports talk radio. And one day, the drug user that was the program director there, Tim Camp, he said, you want it to be like a bunch of guys talking in a sports bar. And I said to him, guys in a sports bar don't sit around and talk about sports. Not the way you're talking about. Guys don't sit around in a sports bar and dissect depth charts. They don't. They don't sit around and talk about third down schemes. They don't. Guys in a sports bar, the sports are on in the background. They're having conversations about stuff. Food, beer, bourbon, girls, life. How's your mom and them? They only talk about the sports when something compelling happens. Not to bring up a bad memory. I'll do it to myself too.
Yes.
The Bartman play.
Yeah.
The Williams fall in the Saints game.
Yeah.
The call in the NFC Championship game. A debate about who's really the GOAT, Brady or whoever. That's what guys talk about in a sports bar. And the truth is, the most fun time when guys are talking in a sports bar is after the guys have had a few and some of the girls show up, and then you have a really funny conversation. Mm-hmm. That's the truth. And I knew that, and I told him that, and he's like, no, you're wrong. And I said, man, I'm just telling you, no guys sit around and talk about that. But I doubted myself, and I said, well, maybe I'm not man-card enough to do what I wanted to do. And I always kind of wanted to do that on the radio, and we started doing it finally. It was me and Mark Heim, and I started doing it on the radio. I'll tell you when I knew I was right. We got Dustin Diamond on the show. Screech. Had him for almost an hour. Lit it up. lit it up. People were like, hey, can you get him back on? Can you do more of that kind of thing? And I was like, oh, we're on. This is what works. Guys driving around in their cars are not wanting to talk about the third string tight end in March. So, yeah, he's right. It's people that do radio usually don't understand radio. They are an absolute hostage to the clock, to the point that it's one of the reasons I like doing 92.9 is the in
Breaks
Memphis.
are soft.
The programming director there, Brad Carson, is a believer in conversation, and he'll adjust that clock. Now, you've got to get your ads in because they paid for them, and that's what puts you on the air.
But if you need an extra 90 seconds, we can make it happen.
But, yeah, if we need to change the hour, we'll change the hour. It's all I listen to is podcast. I paid for Stitcher Premium. Mm-hmm. Love it. Has nothing to do with ads, by the way. I don't mind the ads. Ads don't bother me. In fact, I end up buying stuff off ads. I listen to the ads.
You had a box out on your curb that I assume was from an ad.
It was.
I heard it on multiples.
Yeah, Ole and Branch.
Yeah.
Been searching for a pillow that works.
Yeah.
And I kept hearing about Boll and Branch, and I started reading about it and all these rave reviews on their pillows.
Hey, what the heck?
I'm like, I'm going to give it a shot.
Yeah.
It's a good pillow, by the way.
Okay.
I don't know. So it's to me, that kind of thing's kind of fascinating. Where we're going. Carolla's a genius. What I love about Carolla more than anything is two things. One is dude is real. And he's confident, but not in a cocky way.
No.
He doesn't think he's a genius. But he's smart enough to know, hey, this is what works, and this doesn't work. And
he thinks he was blessed with an abundance of common sense.
And he was.
That's what he believes.
Yeah. What I've learned about me, so this is one of the few talents I'll give myself. I have a really strong ability to just sort of gauge. Have a good gauge. When something gets hot, or when I'll tell you, like, yeah, I don't think we talk about golf a lot, and I'm not a golf guy, but I found that if I watched the golf, oh wow, lots of people who never watch golf watch the golf, and if I didn't watch something, like I used to watch the Daytona 500, I don't watch it anymore, and I've discovered that a lot of people are just like me. Mm-hmm. I've never really thought of myself as everyman, and I'm not claiming that title, but it's kind of interesting. I'm that way. If stuff's just not compelling, I'm not interested. Yeah. So it's one of the reasons, like with what we do on our site at rebelgrove.com, it's part of the Rivals Network. You should subscribe. Chase is covering a lot of baseball. There's a big basketball story up today. I put up only one, but it was a fairly thorough detail of
spring football.
Day one of spring football. I didn't do 8 or 9 content items from it. Just did one, but it's there, and you can see it at rebelgrove.com. I think we have found a way to appeal to the masses by being more real than perhaps others.
Oh, I mean, we said this is our joke all the time. Is in the Rivals admin, you can put photos in, and it pops up if you search anything. And if you had it separated by site, almost every other site in the admin would just be whoever that team's quarterback is, and we've got 12 Santa Clauses in a sleigh. Yeah. We've got
supermodels.
Yeah, it's the dangest thing you've ever seen. I mean, it is.
Pictures
our
of
photo
alcohol.
admin would be insane compared to everyone else. So
The Bachelor, Chris Harrison. We had Chris Harrison on our front page one day last week. I'm sure the people at Rivals looked at that and went, what in the hell?
Yeah, I think a lot of times they probably get that look and then they go, well, they're fine, so whatever. I don't know, but
they keep moving up the ranks.
Yeah, it is what it is. So, all right, let's go there. We'll shift into basketball with this. That story you mentioned, Devontae Shuler, a feature on him on the front of rebelgrove.com. You can read it there. Neil talked to multiple family members, a few family members, a couple of family members.
Every family member.
Every family member. Talked to Devontae, a lot there. So
big shout out to Danella Shuler.
Okay.
She was my point man. He might be the point guard.
But she knew how to distribute.
She was my point guard.
Okay.
Big. She's awesome. Big help. It was fun. His family's fun. They're fun people. They're interesting to talk to.
Going in, what did you know, and how did it kind of develop from what you had as a thought when you first said, "Hey, let's write about Devontae Shuler"?
Okay. Here's the deal.
Yep.
I hate scrums. I hate them. I understand they're a necessary part of journalism. I don't like them.
He means group media gatherings, by the
Yeah,
way.
sorry. Yeah, it's just group media. The coach sits down, a player sits down. We all get the same 9 minutes. 2 or 3 people video the entire 9 minutes. I'm not making fun of anybody, by the way. I'm not. Because I've done it too. So I would be making fun of myself, which I do a lot. And everybody vomits up the exact same thing. And it, I don't know. I just sometimes I just decide to do something different, and I've decided this year to try to do some things differently. I think the people who pay for a subscription deserve that. And frankly, sometimes I'm doing it for myself because it's more fun. I like writing. I like journalism. I had somebody say to me yesterday, "I bet this anthem thing was tough," and I was like, "Well, I mean, it was sensitive, and you had to be careful, but I enjoyed it. I like our rare forays into big J journalism. I do. I'm kind of a geek like that. I like it. It was fun. You get to see whether you're any good or not." So anyway, I just decided, hey, what do we know about this guy? Because I think he's one of the more underrated players in the league. I think he's one of the more underrated players in Ole Miss history. The guy's a hell of an on-ball defender. I knew people had written a lot about his vitiligo, his skin condition. That had been written about. But who is this guy? And I just decided I'd start calling family members and try to figure it out. And I didn't go in with any set plan. I did that deal where I saw Danella on Twitter, and I sent her a message and said, "Hey, could you follow me? I need to ask you something." And she did, and I sent her a DM, and she responded, and we started texting. And I told her what I wanted to work on, and she said, "Cool." And I talked to her for a little while, and then at the end of that conversation, I said, "Can you help me get in touch with some other people in your family?" And she did. She sent me a text with a whole bunch of numbers. And this was like on Friday. And so I started calling, and called some on Friday. I called some on Saturday morning. I called some on Sunday afternoon. And then at the end of that, and you can relate to what I'm about to go to, people that don't do journalism probably were like, "Yeah, what's the big deal?" What you then have is too much.
Yeah.
And I had too much. I didn't call Andy Kennedy because, frankly, it would have just ruffled feathers. I didn't want to ruffle feathers. I didn't want to get people upset. Why are you talking to the former coach? Even though I knew Andy would have been a great voice for that story. I didn't do it because I just didn't feel like.
Andy also, with his persona, potentially, now look, he could have definitely added supplementary material, don't get me wrong. You didn't want him to overtake the story.
Right. And I know because he's just an incredible quote. Yeah. And he has always been an incredible quote that's not being an Andy Kennedy homer. He's just a great quote. You might have noticed he's like sort of destroying broadcasting right now. I thought his quotes might end up being the quotes of the story. I didn't want that.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to bother Kermit. I spent several days kind of negotiating to talk to Devontae. I talked to Devontae Shuler yesterday afternoon for a grand total of 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Just needed to have something from him.
Mm-hmm.
But quite frankly, by the time I talked to him, I didn't need it anymore. I used it, but I didn't need it.
But you had to find a place to put it.
So I spent Monday, I took Carson to soccer and sat down at the bar at Lost Pizza and started culling through quotes.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally, what do I use? What do I not use? How do I structure this? And Monday night, I sat in here and just worked and played with it, and then it just kind of started coming together. And the theme was pretty obvious from the get-go. After you talk to 3 or 4 people, and they're all independently of one another saying the same things, you're like,
Here we are.
Well, at some point you got to believe them that it was a family that 8 kids, 7 are still alive, who were all sort of raised the same way. You had to do good in school. It wasn't really about church. It was more about faith. They did a lot of Bible study and stuff in the house. I never got the impression that like going to church was always a thing.
Corporate worship per se.
Right.
Yeah.
It was more very inside the home, and then they all played basketball. Everybody played basketball. And being able to play with each other and stuff was, there's no question that one of the reasons that Devontae kind of plays as tough as he plays is because he played with his older brothers, and they did the opposite of taking it easy on him. They went after him. They saw that he had some real ability, and they went after him. And then we talked about the vitiligo a little bit, and we talked about what happened on Saturday, because I'd done some of the interviews before the game, and then that happened, and there's no doubt in my mind that Devontae was one of the leaders of that decision to take a knee. And I talked to some of his family about that after it happened, and they were all, just gushing with pride, because inside their family, he's viewed as the shy one. Mm-hmm. They were sort of surprised that it was like his brother, Dontrell, who plays at Charleston Southern. They said had he done it, no one would have been surprised, because he's more of a natural leader, more vocal. And he was, man. I talked to him for like 6 minutes, and I could have written 3 stories. Uh-huh. Dude was great. They said they were kind of surprised that Devontae did it, but that it showed just how much he's growing up, and that's what college is supposed to be. And really kind of dovetailed with a lot of the things that I had been writing and saying about you send your kids to college hoping that they develop convictions and they learn and stuff. And that's what he's done. So it's a credit to the people at Ole Miss. It's a credit to Andy Kennedy. It's a credit to Kermit Davis. It's a credit to the people that are around him every day, that the people in his life see a young man growing up and maturing in front of their eyes.
We'll continue with basketball in 1 minute. Let's tell you about Blow Dry Bar Oxford, 662-638-3310, the Blow Dry Bar at gmail.com, 1801 Jackson Avenue, 10 to 6, Tuesday to Friday, Saturday 10 to 3. Baseball at home this weekend. If you're coming into town, take advantage of it. You might get a gift card. You got plenty of holidays, different things coming up here soon for the lady in your life. Or if you're a lady listening, take care of yourself. Mention rebelgrove.com. You get a discount when you do so, when you head in or give them a call. A lot of things from the blowout to braids, a lot of hairstyle stuff, spray tans, keratin treatments, and much more there with Blow Dry Bar Oxford. Again, voted best new business in 2018 in Oxford. Again, that number is 662-638-3310.
When guests join us on this here Potato Log podcast, they join us on the Patterson and Earhart hotline. Patterson and Earhart, attorneys at law. They specialize in personal injury law and real estate law, but theirs is a general practice that can handle any of your legal needs. When you contact Patterson and Earhart, you speak to one of the partners in the firm, and that's who will handle your case, not some paralegal at a faceless corporate firm. If Patterson and Earhart can't help you, they'll refer you to someone who can. John Calvin Patterson and Wes Earhart are Ole Miss guys. They're local guys, and when you call them, you're going to get one of them on the phone within the same day, guaranteed. So whether you've been injured in a car wreck or have other legal issues, give them a call, 662-526-1992, or check out their website, pelaws.com. Your initial consultation is free. If you're coming to Oxford this weekend for baseball or for whatever, softball, if you're coming to Oxford for football season, check out Home 2 Suites Oxford. It's just off the Old Taylor Road exit. Give them a call, 662-238-3400. Book your home base for the 2019 football season. It's great for baseball, for softball, for double-decker. Perfect location this spring, just a mile from campus. And Home 2 Suites Oxford, 662-238-3400. Warm weather's on the horizon. With it comes the inevitable debate of sock or no sock for your loafers. Save your feet and your shoes from making their own impression and step into spring with some no-shows from Dead Soxy. You really need to experience the difference quality sock makes. Go to deadsoxy.com Enter the code RebelGrove at checkout to receive 30% off all orders, including sale items. These no-shows are the same quality you already love and enjoy with their traditional dress socks, and they come with the no-slip guarantee. So go to deadsoxy.com, check out the no-show collection, and remember to enter promo code RebelGrove at checkout for 30% off all orders. I'll be covering Ole Miss and Tennessee tonight, my post-game column, and this podcast sponsored by Pinnacle Trust. Pinnacle Trust is based in Madison, Mississippi. It represents clients in 24 states and has advisors in 3 states. So listen, here's how this works. I went to Pinnacle Trust and sat down with them, and they showed me several different retirement plans for actual customers. I didn't know the names because people deserve privacy, of course. But I saw numbers, and I saw people that were making $900,000 a year, and I saw people who were making $60,000 a year. And they showed me the retirement plans for both. It was incredible because everybody has different goals, different retirement goals. Yeah, they want to retire at different ages. They want to do different things. Maybe some want to travel the world. Maybe some just want to tend to a garden. Whatever it may be, you tell them what your dreams are, what your plans are, what your goals are. They'll study your expenses, and they'll put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan just for you. Pintrust.com, P-I-N-N Trust.com. Mention you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast, and you'll get 10% off your first year's fee.
Podcast also brought to you by Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. All underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. You're getting local underwriting and understands your market. An Oxford leader in condo financing and the float-down option. You can find Jason at 662-234-2704 or JLOWE at communitymtg.com. I'm going to say this now just before I forget, and it has no immediate relevance, but whatever. I was told last night and then saw the corresponding story that Ole Miss and UCF doing a home-and-home for baseball. A lot of people saw that as football first. It was baseball. 2021, 2022. We have these nice little tags on the message board. Might want to look at those first. No offense. So 21-22, pretty cool schedule coming up for Ole Miss in 21, a couple years away, as that's also the year they're in that tournament in Arlington at, I think, Globe Life Park or something like that, whatever the Rangers' new park is.
Yeah.
6 teams in that tournament: Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Arkansas, TCU, Texas, and Texas Tech. The SEC plays the Big 12 in those games, so the Ole Miss will play Texas, TCU, and Texas Tech in Arlington in 2021. And then have the home-and-home with UCF. So I'm assuming that thing will start in Oxford, and then UCF will be the road trip for the Rebels in 2022 because Mike's not going to go on the road 2 of the weeks in non-conference. So there is your baseball scheduling update as we move forward. Ole Miss, Tennessee tonight.
Well, if they lose another game, he's not going to be the coach.
So it wouldn't really matter what he thinks.
Damn right. Go on the road as much as whoever the new coach wants to go on the road.
Tennessee, 24-3 overall. 13-12-1 against the spread, if you're just kind of curious. And then Ole Miss 19-8 overall, 19-8 against the spread, if you're just curious. So the Rebels been pretty good with the Vegas line because they ran off like 13-14 or 12 of the first 13 or something like that. Did you see the line for tonight? Do you have it?
I think I saw 4.5.
That is the correct line. Ole Miss a 4.5 point underdog tonight in Oxford.
I don't know.
The over and under is 149.5.
149.5.
So 75 all.
Ole Miss needs it under to win.
Under to win.
Yeah.
Here's what shocked me, and I'm going to go to Ken Palm in a second.
Okay.
He says, OddsShark doing their little analytical thing this morning, predicting Tennessee with 70.7 points, predicting the Rebels with 71.3 points today. Their little paragraph says Mississippi will win, cover the spread, and the total will go under tonight in Oxford. I have no idea how they've done over the years. If you want to bet on it with a money line tonight, you can get the Volunteers at minus 190, meaning you got to put up 190 to win 100. If you'd like the Rebels tonight, you can bet 100 and win 175 is your best number on that one. So not quite 2-1 for the Volunteers tonight against Ole Miss.
4.5 points.
4.5 points. So Vegas is thinking 77, 73-ish.
I thought Chris Dortch broke it down really well yesterday. And I thought Kermit Davis broke it down after the Georgia game on Saturday when I'm sure his mind was on some other things. But I thought they both nailed it. And it's this. For Ole Miss to win, the three guards, Schuler, Tyree, and Terrence Davis, have to play really good basketball. Ole Miss needs Terrence Davis to be on his A game. Because they're all drivers. And Tennessee got absolutely killed. And keep in mind now, Tremont Waters didn't play.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee got killed off the dribble driving to the basket by LSU's guards. Just killed. And LSU's guards are really good. LSU's really good. They somehow just magically recruited all those players down there. And they are really good. But Ole Miss's guards are really good. And I think they can create damage. They have to do it efficiently, though, Chase. They can't do this deal where they get crazy and they're attacking early in the shot clock and it's turnovers and Tennessee gets in transition. That's not how you beat Tennessee. That's how Tennessee kicks your ass, in fact. And then the other thing that they have to have, and this is the part that makes me very hesitant to go, yeah, Ole Miss is going to win. This is the part that makes me hesitant to say Ole Miss is going to cover a 4.5-point line. Somebody, whether it's Bruce Stevens, Dominic Olenichik, KJ Buffin, somebody's going to have a man game. One of those older post guys is going to have to show up. And they can do it as a group where you look at the end of the night and went, oh, they went for 14 and 14 combined. Or one of them can go off. But they can't have, and they've had plenty of these. So those of you who get angry at anything negative, here comes one. They've had plenty of games where both don't show. And if that happens tonight, they're not winning. Because what Tennessee does well is they get to the free throw line, and they don't put you on the free throw line. Ole Miss shoots the free throws really well, but they got to get there. And Ole Miss has a tendency to accumulate fouls. It killed them in Columbia. Can't do it tonight. If you do it tonight, you're losing. But I anticipate the Pavilion's going to be loud. I anticipate it's going to be rowdy. I think Ole Miss has a ton of energy for this game. And I think Tennessee's a little tired. I think they're ripe for an upset. But Ole Miss has to play A game. It has to play its A game. Its B game will not beat Tennessee.
Ole Miss heads to Fayetteville on Saturday, and you saw the Razorbacks give Kentucky fits. Had a double-digit lead at halftime last night. Shot the lights out from three. Ended up at 50% for the night.
It was like 11 for 22 or 10 for 20.
I think, on the night. And they had the big lead at halftime, and then came out and hit two quick threes to even kind of push it more. And then just everything kind of regressed back to the mean, if you will, and Kentucky got back in it. Got it back down to 5 or 6 there quickly. And they end up surviving 70-66, I believe was the final. It was a 4-point win either way for Kentucky. They got a little break by the official there at the end, but they took care of it. So
officiating in the league has not been good this year.
No, it's been a bad year for officiating in the SEC.
It impacted an LSU-Kentucky game at Rupp in LSU's favor. The LSU-Tennessee game was officiated weirdly.
As controversy has arisen from.
Well,
fair enough.
Fair.
Yeah. By the way, Ken Palm predicting Tennessee 78, Ole Miss 73 tonight in Oxford.
I lean more that direction.
Calling it 75-74 on Saturday against Tennessee. Against Arkansas. So
I think Ole Miss
big week for the Rebels.
I think Ole Miss wins in Fayetteville.
Do you?
Yeah, I won't use your vernacular when you came in here earlier, but I agreed with it. I think Arkansas will be spent on Saturday.
Do you?
You said it a little more graphic.
Oh, I did. Yeah. Sorry. I kind of forgot what I said there.
Yeah. You ever get that, by the way? People say, hey, I liked what you said on the podcast. And you're like, what did I say on the podcast? I don't remember.
Oh, dude, I have no idea.
Yeah,
nothing.
No clue. But no,
that opinion you had, well, okay.
Yeah. I think that was Arkansas's final salvo. Credit to them. They went over there and played their tails off.
It feels like that was it, though.
Kind of felt like that was it. Because when I saw that score at halftime, I thought, ooh, they might have life in them on Saturday. Tough to get over that. You're not going to the tournament.
No.
Had you beaten Kentucky, because the bubble's so soft, had you beaten
Get
Kentucky
the big win at Rupp, and all of a sudden,
you go, well, we could get on a roll here, and you breathe some oxygen into the body.
And at some point, Daniel Gafford's going to go, hey, what are we doing here, guys?
Yeah, I'm how close am I to the lottery?
Yeah.
Might not want to get hurt right now.
Just might not jump for that loose ball.
Yeah.
Next Tuesday.
It's just natural. It's human. Would you blame him? I mean, I wouldn't.
We've said this for a while. Tennessee is more gettable for Ole Miss because they're frankly not as athletic as Kentucky. When you look at the two teams together, Tennessee, I mean, as I said, the little legend that could thing does come back to a deal here because Tennessee's not as athletic as Kentucky.
No.
Tennessee's not as athletic as LSU.
No.
I'm not sure Tennessee is athletic as Mississippi State.
It's good. I'll go one further. I'm not as sure they're as athletic as Alabama.
Yeah.
Look, teams have played them. Vanderbilt took them to overtime and should have won. Alabama went up there and gave them a war and probably should have won. And I apologize for using war. I try not to. I apologize. They can be defeated, but you have to play your ass off. Bottom line, they are very disciplined. They're well coached. They're veteran. Kids like Williams and Schofield are just consistently great players. And you have to take their shots. You have to be resilient. And they're going to have some help from the crowd. The crowd's going to have to kind of have to pump some fresh blood into these guys. Here's the weird thing about Ole Miss, too. Ole Miss is not as good at home as they are on the road.
Strange, but
it's weird, but they're not.
And some of it's just the league, but still.
Well, and again, Scotty Thurman said me this the other day. The league's just unforgiving this year. He said you have to stop celebrating almost immediately, and you've got to stop mourning almost immediately. He goes, and it's hard to get kids to do that.
Reading here from, we always talk about Schofield and Grant Williams. This coming from VolQuest.com, the Tennessee rival site. They've got a decent little 3-2-1 thing today or 2 days ago on Tennessee basketball, and one of their third topics is where'd all the weapons go. Talks about Grant Williams and Schofield showing up and doing what they typically do. However, Lamont Turner and Jordan Bowden, who had got off to great starts in league play and kind of helped them along the way as role players during that big streak, they hit a wall over the last 3 games. Those two combined are 12 for 51, 23.5%. That drop-off causing some of Tennessee's struggles here as they've had some trouble the last 2 weeks.
Well, and there were some people about Tennessee. Now, I don't subscribe to this, by the way, but there are people who know basketball well who said, hey, they feasted on some bad teams. Their schedule was favorable. I don't buy it. But they said, hey, watch them at the end. They're going to have to play a lot of good teams in a row, and they could get exposed a little. I don't buy it, but I understand what people are saying. They took Gonzaga to overtime. They're good.
Oh, they're really good.
They're really good. But can Ole Miss win? Yes. Yes. And if Ole Miss wins, it ought to be one hell of a party tonight. It's a big – you win and you're in. The bubble watch is over if you win tonight. The rest of it will be for seeding. And if you win tonight, you have put yourself in a position to start getting into that conversation for a 6 seed. Now, you'd have to keep winning. Everybody keeps doing what if they just win this? What if they win 3 of these 4? What if they win the 2 road games and then beat Tennessee or Kentucky at home?
Well,
now you're playing with gas, as they say. You start getting off that you get off that 8-9 line. You start playing with getting off that 7 line, and you start putting yourself in a spot in the tournament where you start thinking about, hey,
Favorable matchup here.
Get the right matchup, and you could play for the second weekend.
First things first.
But yeah, there's a lot to go. And look, I still maintain what I've said all along. This team making the tournament is one of the most incredible accomplishments that I've seen.
If it's wearing white uniforms or if it's in Dayton, who gives a crap? Either way.
Yeah. Although I'd really like to avoid the Dayton thing.
You've seen enough of Ohio for your time.
I mean, I like Ohio. It's just that trip from Dayton to Nashville still is seared into my memory.
Say they win the game tonight. Bigger win for Ole Miss this year. What? Did you say hey?
No. She thought Memory was saying hello to Siri.
What?
Yeah, she likes me. I'm telling you. We have a close relationship.
Oh.
She just wanted to visit.
If they win tonight, is that a bigger win or is the win out of Auburn a bigger win? Tonight?
Yeah. Because I can make the argument that Auburn's troubled.
Auburn does not play very good basketball, but somehow never falls in the net.
And by the way, Charles Wiley's not playing in Athens tonight.
Austin Wiley. Charles Wiley playing for Auburn would be interesting.
That would be. I meant Austin Wiley.
He was picked out by Matt Luke, by the way, as one of the better guys in this little 3-4 change thing.
Yeah.
Although he calls him Chuck Wiley, I think.
Calls him Chuck, yeah.
So, okay, it's on the board. I don't mind taking it. Biggest win for Ole Miss overall in athletics since the Sugar Bowl?
Huh.
Hadn't been a lot going on here, bud, the last couple of years, so. It's nationally resonating. Nothing baseball does matches basketball or football. So.
Well, no, they haven't had a big football win
since the Sugar Bowl.
Since the Sugar Bowl. Yeah.
Sugar Bowl a bigger win?
I know. Well, I mean, see, the thing. No, this would be a bigger win.
I mean, look, for the fan base, yeah, absolutely, the Sugar Bowl's a bigger win. I get that. I understand that.
But you can't avoid what happened in the aftermath of the Sugar Bowl. It happened, and it did absolutely not negate it, but you don't look back.
It took the buzz away.
Yeah. People are mad at us right now. They're hitting their stuff in their cars.
Yeah, I'm trying to play.
So Labrador just got kicked. No, I mean,
other than the esports team beating Ohio State,
that was
yesterday.
Big. That was big.
Ohio State was ranked number 1 in the country in Call of Duty, and apparently Ole Miss beat them yesterday.
Knocked off number 1.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, you didn't see that?
No, put that on the season. Next week on the season.
Esports. Yeah, I have it here. It's a tweet. Hold on. You didn't see this?
No.
I say that like you should have seen it.
No, I don't. But I don't spend as much time on Twitter as you do.
Ole Miss Esports. It says, yeah, I guess GG's good game. Obviously, exclamation point.
Yeah.
I twitch, bro. Okay, I get this. Your
Twitch, bro.
Your Call of Duty Rebs finished 3-1 versus number 1 Ohio State Esports. So they beat Ohio State, who was ranked number 1 in the country in Call of Duty. Now, I don't know if Ohio State was number 1 in Call of Duty or if they were just number 1 in esports and they just happened to be playing Call of Duty. I don't know.
Inquiring minds.
Who votes on this? Is it all computer rankings? Like, what are we doing here? Is there an algorithm?
Is there an AP vote ballot on this?
We can't. We're fan site.
No,
Sorry, can't get that vote.
Can't do that. Did you see? And we're not even part of APSE. We should be, but we're not. I didn't feel like paying for it. Did you see all the awards that rival sites won in APSE?
Mm-hmm. There's been a shift there.
Yeah, it's dramatic.
It's that deal where when I see all the tweets, I get annoyed because I feel like I've written things that would have won. And then part of me goes, well, you're just paying money to have somebody send you a certificate. Like,
you're literally paying money for someone to let you win an award.
Well, it's like the Mississippi Sports Writer of the Year thing, and no offense to anybody that's won, but you have to pay a decent amount of money to be entered. You can't just win it. You have to join a thing to win.
Yeah.
So there's like 4 dudes in it every year. It's like,
it just kind of feels.
I mean, do I really want to pay $500 just to get a sheet of paper? I mean, I don't know.
Well, my answer to that is no.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the point. I'm just like, okay. Again, no offense. Whatever,
No,
whatever.
I've won awards.
Whatever floats your boat.
I've won awards, and then you think, well, what did that do for me? Not much.
I mean, there are no bonuses in our contract for winning awards that I'm aware of.
No.
I don't think Rivals really cares. I mean, I guess they'd rather you win them than not win them, but I don't think it really matters. So,
well, no one at Rivals has ever told me, hey, really wish you'd enter some of these contests and win some awards.
No.
That'd make us feel better. I'll tell you this, in the old newspaper days, that was a big deal.
Yeah, I get that.
It was a big, no, I mean, it was like, there was pressure.
Yeah.
You need to win some awards.
Yeah.
And it would come award season, and we'd have to, like, pick out your clips.
See, that's part of it, too, is it takes a little time and effort to get all that crap sent in and situated.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That used to happen, though, and, man, I'd be like, oh, my God, I hope I win something. Because Murphy and I won that national award for investigative reporting on the price thing.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you'd have thought we won the damn Pulitzer.
Really?
Oh, yeah. People were pumped, and I was just like, whew. Thank God I finally won something.
Yeah. All right, we'll move on in 1 minute. I'll tell you about Scripted
I won
Jewelry.
a photography award once.
No,
Did you know that?
No, really? No kidding?
God's honest truth.
No kidding?
No kidding. God's honest truth. They sent me, I was in the office, I was Auburn beat writer, and they're like, hey, man, we got problems. We got staffing issues. There's a game, whatever. Would you just go get a picture of a high school basketball game? I was like, yeah, why not? Give me the camera. It'd be funny. And they give me the camera, and I don't even know how to work the damn thing. And they're like, give me a quick tutorial. And I'm like, whatever. I get something. They're like, just get something decent. We'll fix it up. So I get under the basket, and I get a perfect picture of a dunk. Absolutely. The key moment of the dunk. And I go back, and I have like 100 bad pictures and that one. And they come out like, that's really good. And I'm like, no, pardon me, no shit. Yeah, I won an award. Photo was like second place photo of the year. It was great. I have no idea how I did it. Couldn't do it again.
As much just beginner's luck as humanly possible.
Blind squirrel.
You had no idea if that sun gun was focused or not focused or anything.
Blind squirrel catches nut.
Yes.
Weather at 10.
Yeah. ScriptedJewelry.com. Go to the website. You might even put your message on a trophy if you'd like with Scripted Jewelry. They might can make that work for you. Maybe send us an APSE of some sort as well. They got
you put your slogan. What was your slogan? I twitch, bro.
I twitch, bro.
That'd be good.
Frequently asked questions, sizing guides, and more. Personalize the sentimental gift there with Scripted Jewelry. I mean, check out. Save some money in the process. Rebels 10, REBELS 10. To save money with Scripted Jewelry. They'll tell you what some people have bought recently. They'll give you ideas. They'll make that gift special for you. So, again, ScriptedJewelry.com.
At some point today, my plan is to publish the mailbag. It's brought to you by the Westin Jackson. Westin Jackson is home to Soul Spa. It's the ultimate luxury spa experience in downtown Jackson. Indulge in personalized massages, signature facials, soothing body treatments, and much more on their extensive spa list. And then gather at Estelle Wine Bar and Bistro. Maybe watch the Rebels tonight. Sip on a creative craft cocktail. Enjoy their curated wine list. It's open for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and Sunday brunch. Chef Caden's mission is to connect guests with the community through local partnerships. So gather at Estelle tonight. Podcast also brought to you by John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. If you've been thinking about that golf trip with the guys that you'll never forget, maybe an anniversary trip she'll never forget, whether you dreamed of playing St. Andrews or sitting at a cafe in Paris, talk to John before you do it yourself. He's part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners that allows John to supply his clients with added values, unique benefits that are simply not available to other travelers. Give him a call, 901-494-3387. Give him some parameters and a budget. He'll give you options you will not find on your own. It's J. Edwards at regencytravel.net. First-time clients save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast. It's a podcast that's also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. Grenada Nissan located just off Interstate 55 in Grenada, Mississippi. They have a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles. Go in, test drive one today, and tell them that you heard about Grenada Nissan on the podcast. or at rebelgrove.com, and you'll get Rebel savings on top of the already great deals at Grenada Nissan. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. Let's see, what's today? Today's Wednesday. Join the Ole Miss men's basketball team tonight as they take on Tennessee at 6 p.m. Standing room only tickets are going to be available for purchase today at 4:30 at the Pavilion ticket office. This isn't part of the ad reader, but I'm going to tell you, I think if you want them, you better be there really early to get them. It's going to be jam-packed in the Pavilion tonight. For more info, visit OleMissGameDay.com. The men's tennis team opens up SEC play at home as they take on Kentucky Friday, 6 p.m. Fans will receive free Chick-fil-A, and admission is free. For more information, visit OleMissSports.com. The Ole Miss softball team returns to Oxford as they host the Ole Miss Classic this weekend, beginning with Pittsburgh on Friday at 6 p.m. Admission is free. For more info, visit OleMissSports.com. And the 10th-ranked Ole Miss baseball team returns to Swayze this weekend for a series with Long Beach State. General admission tickets are on sale for Game 1 on Friday at 6:30 p.m. For more info, visit OleMissGameDay.com.
Podcast is brought to you by Mastercuts Lawn and Landscape, mastercutslawn.com, 662-607-7773. Send them an email, info@gomastercuts.com. You know, you get free quotes to handle basic maintenance throughout 2019. They'll take care of that, or something a little more special, from flower beds to pine straw to building that custom playground or that fence or whatever you need. Mastercuts takes care of everything. Again, 662-607-7773. First day of football, as we mentioned yesterday, for the spring. Matt Luke talked to us around 11 o'clock. It was out there around 4 yesterday with some very brilliant observations. You can find all that at rebelgrove.com. And the big thing is a lot of install, and the fact that they're frankly a little farther along with that, just from the standpoint of there was a rule change that allows coaches to have some time with players for walkthroughs during the off season. So they've done a good bit of that. I think Matt said 10 or 11 installs already done as they get here and get the spring going. But that's still, it's teaching, it's learning. That's the goal of the spring, and then staying healthy, because he talked about offensive line depth being a problem if anything happened, or just frankly without the bodies they're going to get in the signing class. And then with Matt Corral, he mentioned that so much of it depends on him, how quickly he learns it, how quickly he can implement it to what all they can put in right now. So that's where the onus is right now, and really is going to be for the next 3, 4, 5 weeks.
Yeah, I went out there yesterday. I got to see 6 periods. I can pretty much tell you everything. What do you want to know? I saw it all. I can break it down. Very multiple on offense. I've already got their offense.
Very multiple.
Very multiple. I've got the offense completely mapped out. Got a real.
What do you think the first play of the season is?
It's going to be a fake power drive left.
So for play action.
Play action. Quarterback's going to roll to the right. Flood a zone. I have no idea.
Got a guy going deep.
Got a guy going. Oh yeah, going deep. Always going deep. Shoot or shoot.
Shoot or shoot. Okay.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay.
Defensively, all jokes aside, although there's no way to do it without a joke, I do think they're going to be better just fundamentally. Like maybe significantly better just fundamentally. Getting in place.
I mean, you literally mean lining up.
I literally mean they're going to line up better.
Which is kind of a key. You sort of need to start in the right place.
Yeah, there were plays last year, multiple plays last year, where it didn't really matter who your Jimmies and Joes were.
So like 2, 3, multiple?
More than that.
Okay.
Where they just didn't, they weren't in a place where they even would have a chance. You know?
I see what you mean.
I think they'll do better at that. I'm not going to be the guy that makes judgments on. I can't do it. The people that do it are disingenuous, and they're full of it. They don't know football well enough to watch guys run around in shorts one day and tell me who's going to be a player. Watch a bunch of offensive linemen on it when they can't they're not wearing pads to tell me who's going to be good. That won't work. So I did talk to people at practice yesterday and got more of their thoughts because they actually know what the hell they're talking about. Some guys that they're interested in, Jalen Cunningham, offensive lineman that we don't talk much about because he hadn't played yet.
Yeah.
And they don't know. Say strong, athletic. They think he has a remarkably high upside, but he's got to get there. They like what they see out of Sam Williams. And he certainly looks the part. I mean, he'd be one of the ones you want getting off the bus.
He's going to play in that new outside linebacker role in the 3-4.
And he's a big kid, but he's like Tisdale sort of. In that, they tell you Tisdale's 280 or 90 or whatever, and you're like, no, he's not. There's no way. And it's like that because someone told me yesterday that Williams is closer to 270 than he is 255, which is what he's listed. And I thought, there's no way that dude's 270. But I'll take their word for it. They see the scales. I don't.
Devon Penniman and DeMarcus Gregory going to practice. As of now, Jalen Jones and Montrell Custis being held out from an injury standpoint, the recovery standpoint.
Yeah, they're going to be out there for the install part of it.
Get in the right place.
Which I'm telling you is going to be a hell of a lot of what they're going to do this spring.
He pointed out Kadir Shepard and Chuck Wiley as two guys that were moving to that new spot that would at least get some early looks, and it looked okay in the I guess the understanding of it at this point. It's not all you know. So in that part of it, again, don't know. That's where we are. Jerry and Ely fell in a couple of the mocks this week.
I put this in my notebooky thing yesterday. There's growing optimism all over the place that he's going to play football.
And I can't speak to what his family's doing. I can't even speak to the football side of it. From the baseball side of it, here's what's going on right now with him.
Oh, yeah.
He's having scout meetings. People come to his house, seeing all these organizations. They're asking him a lot of questions. And what's going to happen a little bit, while everybody's, hey, in our own little world, and it's hey, I'm going to hold some information to myself or my club, there's going to be a little meeting of the minds here where some teams come together and go, what's up with this kid? What are y'all getting? What are we getting? What's the consensus that we feel about what this kid's going to do? Because the best thing Ole Miss, and I wrote this on the board this morning, the best thing Ole Miss has going for it right now is not really the new – it's not even new anymore. Not really the collective bargaining agreement, but the shift change in Major League Baseball as it pertains to the draft, where for years agents handled it, took it over, controlled everything.
Free agency, too.
And baseball now goes, we're good. We're not going to let you do that anymore. Yep. We're not going to get run out on our own prices. The collective bargaining agreement allows us to maintain our picks now. It allows us to kind of just move on. It allows us to basically just skip your kid for a kid we're going to get. So we're going to do that. So the Kyler Murray situation has absolutely harmed Jerry and Ely from a max dollar deal right now. There's no doubt. It is happening more and more every day. You're hearing more and more about how, hey, let's be careful here. So what Ely's going to have to do is he's going to have to make a decision and let that be pretty dang known. Or B, he's going to have to take a discounted rate to do some multi-sports, to do some different things. And frankly, the teams don't care. Yeah, they'd like to have him. But as long as they offer him whatever that percentage is of slot to maintain their pick, it's like 40% or 60%, I forget. It's whatever the Braves did with Carter Stewart last year. As long as they offer him that, they don't care what he does. They'll let him move on and just get the same guy next year. So that's the deal right now with Ely, is that a lot of the optimism, in my opinion, is from the baseball side of things, everything kind of being in flux, no one knowing really what he's truly thinking as this thing gets closer, and nobody having really that set dollar amount on, okay, this is the amount that's going to make him play both sports, pro baseball, college football, or if so, what are we going to do with that? How do we protect ourselves there? Or, hey, here's the number to make him tell football goodbye. And I think until all these meetings and everything kind of hashes out, he's going to be all over the place in mocks. Everybody's going to have a little bit of different of opinion. And then sometime around mid to late April, it's going to kind of all come into focus a little bit. And I do think we have a pretty good idea 4 to 6 weeks before the draft of what Ole Miss can expect from Jerry and Ely.
Here's the other thing. You know this. Baseball's a repetition game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have to swing a lot to get your swing down. Kind of like golf.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's going to play football too, he goes from being a project to being a flyer. He goes from being a project to being a lottery pick. Yeah, someone will throw $200,000 at him to own his rights. But are they going to? But if he's determined to play football, or if he can't put football away from a baseball standpoint, they're going to say, look, you've got tools, lots of tools. But for you to be our starting right fielder in New York or Cincinnati or wherever in 4 years, we've got to get you in our systems and our instructs, and we've got to start working on refining those tools, teaching you how to use those tools, teaching you how to go from a guy that's got a bunch of tools in his tool belt to being a craftsman. And you have to do that over time. There's a training deal, and if he's not willing to do that, then his value as a prospect goes down.
The number one guy that benefits from Jerry and Ely if he shows up to Ole Miss and plays both sports, John Rice Plumlee. Gives him a partner in this, because Plumlee, and I think he's the kind of kid that can do it, but you've got to be so disciplined to both play two sports in college, especially as a quarterback, that you've got to hit on your own, you've got to throw on your own, you've got to find guys to help you, you've got to do so many things outside of already your ridiculous schedule for a student athlete or a prominent member of the football program, that he and Ely would be sort of that partner, if you will, to be able to pull this off. I think it would be the perfect thing for Plumlee. However, if you told me to kind of put them in order, I still think him playing both sports here is the least likely option of the three options that we have.
For Ely.
Ely, not Plumlee, Ely. I just mentioned Plumlee in passing. But for Ely, I still think that's three. However, I frankly would have a really hard time telling you what's one right now if you told me to pick one of the other two. Just because I think teams are going to be so freaked out by this two-sport thing that the only way they put that into focus is if you really take a pay cut to do it to protect themselves.
Sure.
Kind of where I feel on that right now.
What's happening with baseball is that everyone has – people copy success. Look at the teams that have won World Series the last few years. Cubs, Astros, Red Sox. Mm-hmm. All of those teams have the same sort of analytical systems and people, and what they're doing is they're putting numbers to things and they're putting values on things. That's why we sit here today. Kimbrel's not signed. Dallas Keuchel's not signed.
Yeah, that's true.
Hell, Bryce Harper's not signed. And it's because people have put values on it. And the fight between front offices and agents is more real right now than it's ever been before.
Yeah. Podcast brought to you in part by G&M Pharmacy there on South Lamar in Oxford. You know, they deliver to your home and workplace, and they care about you as a local, trusted hometown pharmacy. If you're one of the people that got shifted over to one of the bigger brands during a merger, you don't have to stay there. You can give you give G&M a call at 662-236-2222. I was trying to be vague there and didn't do a real good job of who I was talking about. 662-236-2222. I've done it. Move the medications over. It's simple. It's easy. And they work quick for you. They get to know you, and they help you out. And, again, as we've been mentioning, they now offer CBD oil available in the sublingual oil, soft gel capsules, or topical salves. Helps potentially anxiety, pain, insomnia, depression, and more. Studies show 42% of CBD users stop using traditional medications and use cannabis instead. So it is FDA approved. You can find out more, again, with G&M at 662-236-2222.
Podcast also brought to you by Harry Alexander. Harry is an Oxford-based RE/MAX Legacy Realty agent. He's been in Oxford more than 4 decades. No one knows the residential and condo market in Oxford better than Harry. Go to his site. He'll prove it to you. HarryAlexander.com. Click on the Properties and Neighborhoods tab. Filter through by what you're looking for, and then send him an email, ha@harryalexander.com. Podcast also brought to you by Oxford University Bank. OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB gives you the comfort of home, all the benefits the big mega banks provide, all the technology and products you can want, all with the personal touch. When you call OUB, you speak directly with a live person. No 10 buttons to push, no 5 minutes to wait. OUB offers its customers the absolute best cash checking account. It's called Kasasa. And with Kasasa, OUB will pay customers 2.5% interest on their balances up to $50,000 and refund ATM fees nationwide. OUB also offers online bill pay and mobile check deposit using its online app. To learn more about OUB, check out liveoxfordbankoxford.com or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured.
Again, just kind of wrapping up baseball last night. Ole Miss 12, UT Martin 6. Had sort of not even really a game, or just some stuff on the side after the game. And then we'll have more in the mailbag tomorrow. I kind of wanted to use last night as an example of some season-long stuff that I think they're dealing with at this point, even though the season's only 6 games, 7 games, whatever it is. But nonetheless, I'll kind of put that into some larger picture stuff tomorrow with some of those questions. You can tweet me, or I'll even take some of the message board if you have it, if you've got something you'd like to add to it. But I've got a pretty good many now, so I'm already kind of picking and choosing and cutting. But nonetheless, that is there. And again, I thought last night Jordan Fowler was bad. He pitched 1.2 innings maybe, and gave up a lot of base runners. Gave up multiple hits, multiple extra base hits, walked, got behind in the count. It's a deal where I wrote this last night, and it was a little bit of, yeah, but other than that, everything's good, right? Because Ole Miss starters haven't gotten ahead in counts, and then when they do get ahead in counts, they've had a hard time without pitches. They have a hard time putting guys away. It's leading to more foul balls. It's leading to higher pitch counts. It's doing a lot of things, and it all stems from either lack of command early in the count or lack of either placement or enough stuff, if you will, later in the count, which is kind of the two things you need to do as a pitcher is get ahead and then get out. So if you're struggling with one or both of them, it does create some problems. Ole Miss only has one quality start through the first 7 games of the season, even though the quality start stat's kind of weird. That being actually, I don't guess that applies. Will Etheridge in the season opener didn't go a full 6. He went 5.2 without allowing a run. So maybe they have 0 now that I think about it. But nonetheless, they find out the next day or so if they're going to get him back this weekend. I don't really have a guess. I think it can go either way. But I think Mike is more than comfortable holding him out another weekend if necessary. He's not rushing him back for Long Beach State on Friday night. They will make do as they will, and I have no idea what the rotation will be. I would lean toward Phillips, Roth, and Hoagland again because I still think as of right now, a lot of people ask me about Doug Nikhazy. The way he can bounce back and giving them that left-handed bullpen arm that potentially is dominant, I think they leave him in the pen right now. I think that's his role. I kind of made a flyer early in the year if somebody said, hey, what's your crazy prediction? Just name something nobody's expecting. And I said Doug Nikhazy leads the team in saves. He has 1 right now. Gracie has 1 as well. So we'll kind of see as it irons itself out. But from the left side, really a lot of movement, good breaking ball, and the ability to throw multiple times in a week. I think that would give him a pretty good shot as the season moves along, as long as he doesn't hit some crazy freshman wall later on, which he will because it's a 56-game season.
Is there any chance at all, and this would be way down the road, is there any chance at all that if he became reliable as a closer, that you could start playing with the idea of stretching Krejci out and using him as a starter?
I don't see them doing that. I know it was talked about at one point.
I had no idea that it was even talked about.
I mean, not to any large degree, but I know it's just the flyer in the room, if you will. Someone goes, hey, what if we did this?
Because he kind of has starter stuff.
Well, I mean, frankly, if he's not really throwing that velocity up, he has more starter stuff than reliever stuff, if you know the truth. I thought the breaking ball was pretty good in New Orleans. I thought the fastball got a little funky at times, but it was 92, 94. It was fine for this time of the year from a velocity standpoint. I thought the breaking ball was pretty good. That's what's got Hoagland in trouble is he just can't throw the dang off-speed stuff for a strike. He throws – the fastball kind of becomes get over a little bit because the other stuff just doesn't – that changeup has a chance to be a wipeout pitch, but you got to get it in the right spot. You got to get it close enough to let it be that.
The scouting report has to tell people that he can throw that for a strike. Yeah. Otherwise, the scouting report says just
leave that damn thing alone.
Leave his off-speed stuff alone, and he'll get behind in the count, and then he'll get into a fastball count, and he's going to throw a hittable fastball, and you hit it.
And it's where he's going to get so much better is I know he says this isn't true, but I'm going to die on this hill. I still contend that a lot of the reasons that he did not walk anybody in high school, he's got good command. Don't get me wrong, he's first-round pick. But it's because he was never scared of the hitters. He just threw the ball across the middle of the plate. They couldn't hit it. So
Yeah, because he throws what?
I mean, he at that point he was 90 to 93, and very frankly a lower level Florida high school. I mean,
Yeah, but even if you play at a higher level high school, in a high school lineup, how many guys can handle 92,
Not
93?
many at all.
I mean, one?
maybe.
And so, yeah.
You'll run through full rosters that have no chance of hitting you that day.
And so when you get in trouble, you just pump fastballs.
And I think that's what he did. It was just, hey, I'm going to rely on this fastball. I'm going to throw it over the middle of the plate. You're not going to hit it, and we're going to move on with our day and win the game. And I think
SEC lineups have lineups full of people who can hit 92 and 93 miles an hour.
yeah, so I think there's a learning curve on, hey, when you get behind, you still got to pitch. You can't just you can't just throw it over and get over with an 89 mile an hour fastball.
Because you're going to throw it over and they're going to hit it over.
Yeah, they're going to hit it down your throat. So
Right.
I think that's the deal here is he's going to get better as he learns. I think he's in a little bit of a transitional period, but they're going to give him plenty of opportunities. It's nowhere near a freak-out time on Gunnar Hoagland. And down the road, I mean, I know they lose tons of offense. That pitching staff down the road with Hoagland, Nikhazy, and Caleb Hill is going to be fierce. So they're
It's
really
almost
set
like
well.
you're saying that there's a learning curve.
There's a bit of a transition at times, yes, from high school to SEC baseball.
Interesting.
There aren't a lot, when you're playing high school baseball. There's not a ton of Thomas Dillards in the lineup that can hurt you like that. So you
Really?
have the ability, amazingly, not a lot of that.
That's interesting.
That dude is a different hitter from 2 years ago. I mean, well, speaking of transitions, from freshman to junior year, he just completely different.
Oh, he's got major league hitting tools.
You always hate the premier player comp, but the Schwarber comp makes so much sense. Except, frankly, Dillard's a much better athlete.
Yeah.
Dude's going to steal 20 bases.
Yeah, I don't know that he is, at this point, the pure hitter
Yeah, I get you.
that Schwarber was at that stage. But he's got that same kind of power that, like the ball he hit, I saw the replay of it. Wind or no wind, I don't care. Why the right fielder wasted his energy with two steps is beyond me. I mean, kudos. I mean, seriously. No, I'm if I'm like quote watching the film, I tell my right fielder, "Hey, man, you know what? Good for you for hustling." Because there wasn't a chance in hell that you were catching that ball, and you knew it, and you ran anyway. Kudos.
Yeah,
I'm totally serious. I would have said to my right fielder, "Good for you."
Because if you're playing right field, you don't even look over your shoulder. You just keep standing there looking ahead of the plate.
Yeah, because if I had been watching the film and the right fielder just goes, I'd have been like, yeah, I don't blame him.
I might have turned around just to see where it went.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have faulted my right fielder for not taking a step.
Yeah, just turn your head.
Ooh.
Yeah. Nah, he can hit.
He's got light tower power. Like Schwarber hit that ball in the 2015 Division Series against the Cardinals that landed up on top of the Budweiser sign.
Yeah.
On top of it. That's when you go, whoa, dude has different power.
Yeah,
you can't coach that.
Dillard's had the best walk percentage on the team in every season. He's got the best plate discipline on the team. He's an athlete. There's just he was not mentioned as one of the guys that could really take some helium level jumps because of his lack of position, frankly. But I'm telling you, as this thing moves, I'm beginning to kind of wonder where this thing could end up if he maintains anywhere close to this throughout the season.
Well, two things. One, the DH is coming to Major League Baseball.
Professional hitter is a position.
Yes. And then number two, come on, he could play left field. If you can
There's some butchers out there.
Yeah. I mean, he's athletic enough not to make a complete ass of himself out there. And
I mean, if I had stock right now, I would like it in Cooper Johnson. But because if he shows elite level catching tools all year, somebody's grabbing that dude.
Because they don't care whether he can hit or not.
Yeah.
You can frame. You can handle a pitching staff. You can handle the base running game.
Yeah, because framing, that's the thing. He's got all year. He's got to stay consistent because he's a freak athlete. And he's got the best arm in college baseball. So it's can you just finish it?
And the answer to that is if he can do that consistently, he'll be on a fast track to the major leagues.
The dude that no matter how you hit, you end up in the major leagues for 14 seasons.
Oh yeah, it'll just be a matter of whether you're going to be a
bench guy or a player.
Yeah. But man, they'll
end up like a Tyler Flowers or what do you do?
They'll figure it out.
Yeah. So Anyway, that's where we are with baseball. More there tomorrow on the site at rebelgrove.com, and probably as the week moves on as well. Tennessee, Ole Miss tonight, 6 o'clock from the Pavilion. Reaction on the site and tomorrow on the podcast. Talk to you then.